Originally, when I went to start to maintain the grave site, spruce it up, make it look a little bit dressed right, spruced it up a little bit, you know, just put some pine straw around it and his mother's grave, and then decided, well, fitting to put some flags in instead of plastic flowers. And then I thought, you know, well, let's order some marine flags, you know, just do that. And so I did that. And the maintenance is ongoing because of nature. You know, it's just, you just can't keep it looking good all the time. So I check back, you know, from time to time. And I generally go by, you know, maybe, you know, once or twice a month, usually on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon. Just stop by and check on it.
Hope still remains in erecting a 7-foot statue of Dan based on Steve's original bronze sculpture.
This was never meant to be this size. It was meant to be a monument that you could walk around, you actually see it eye to eye with these men. So this would be over life-size, monumental. That would be nice to go to either the Marine Corps Museum or the African American Museum. I respect him. I wanted to build that statue so that we can all remember him, that this young man did the impossible just by getting through boot camp at that age. And I could see it and see that and get to know him. First of all, know that he existed, to know that he died for his country.
So I think the best way to honor Dan Bullock and the other Marines who were killed that night and, you know, on other days and nights and weeks in the Anwa Valley is to get at the truth and tell the full story the best we can, you know, to be able to say with certainty or with confidence at least, you know, they were at such and such a place and they were performing a certain mission, and it doesn't have to, we don't have to try to drape them in heroism. And what they were doing was inherently a difficult, demanding task, and of course, you know, deserves our utmost respect.
Dan Bullock Story is just a microcosm of the whole war, but it is part of the alpha of the stories because the youngest, and you know, there's the youngest and the oldest, but it's not just the youngest, but it's the story behind Dan's motivations. Why would this kid do this? 14 years old. I think at 14 I had a paper route and I was, you know, thinking about maybe, you know, trying to make a few bucks or something. Or, you know, I wasn't thinking about. I was, yeah, trying to do better for myself, but not joining the military. You know. So it was just what motivated him. I really would have liked to have been in the mindset of Dan. What was going on? Something had to be going on that had to make this child soldier want to do better. I mean, he was a child, 14. Couldn't even have a driver's license. But he must have, something that must have in him instilled in him the motivation and the drive, which gives me hope that today's kids got that too. That deep inside them, that there are motivation for kids. It's tragic that it happened to Dan, what happened to Dan, but then again, it's proven a point.
Dan was and still is one of the greatest patriots we ever had in this country, because here's a 15-year-old that died fighting for our democracy, and he could have easily threw his hands up and said, look, I'm only 14 in boot camp, or 15, and went home. But he didn't. He took his secret to the grave. And since he's a young African-American who died at 15, every African-American and everybody in this country ought to know who he is. And I think he ought to be recognized.